What's going on, guys? Nemo with it. No, not Nemo with us. Oh wow. Let me redo this. Pretend I didn't say Nemo. Sorry, cause like I just changed my name recently and I'm getting used to it. It's not my fault. All right. Three, two, one. What's going on, guys? Lotus What If here. So I'm starting a new series. Why? Because I want to start a new series. If you're wondering about the Cultivation World one, I'm going to be doing part 2, yes, but I'm going to be doing part 2 on Valentine's Day because that's when he's going to meet, well, his love interest or the ships. So all the other what ifs, I'm going to get to them, alright? I'm probably going to be doing what if Asta was kicked out of the church after this, so don't worry about that one. I will be doing that one. Abandoned probably and probably framed, but I don't know about them for sure. So this is going to be oh Demon Slayer what if. Yeah, Demon Slayer what if. I almost got confused. All right, I was about to say Digimon. Like the first shit that came to mind to me was like, this is gonna be a Digimon what if. I seriously was about to say this is gonna be a Digimon what if, and then I stopped myself right as I was about to say it. So this is gonna be a Demon Slayer what if. This one I'm gonna tell you straight away. All right, Tanjiro, my boy Tanjiro, the innocent being. No, that's not an innocent being. All right. And this what if this man is going to wake up and choose violence. All right. All right. I know. For my attitude, saying somebody wakes up and choose violence, yeah. I wouldn't normally say that, cause I don't wake up and choose violence. I don't want violence to happen to me. But my man's Tanjiro, he wakes up and chooses violence. All right. And you guys are gonna get mad at me, but like I'm sorry. All right. Sorry in advance. All right. Best girl Nezuko, she's gonna have to go. We're gonna have to put her out. We're gonna have to put her out. Alright, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, dead ass though, I'm so sorry. From my heart itself, forget the bottom, forget the top, forget the back, forget the front. My whole heart. I'm wholeheartedly sorry, alright? I really didn't want to do this, but I'm sorry. Alright? So yeah, this is gonna be what if Tanjiro was framed and betrayed. Why did I say framed? Because he's gonna get framed and he's gonna get betrayed at the same time. So yeah, the people that are gonna trust him is Genyu. I don't know how to say his name, but it's Genyu. I know it's Genyu. It's Genyu and the ship. And the ship is going to be the Hashira of love. Yes, Mitsuri. I know she's for the Snake Hashira, but like him, we gonna forget about him, alright? We gonna forget about him for now, alright? Alright? Alright, he's not gonna be with Mitsuri, alright? So yeah. Why? Because if if Tanjiro in this what if were to be, well, made in a Hashira, he would be the Hashira of hate, alright? Due to the fact that he hates the Corp and the organization itself due to what they did to him. Alright, so we start off in Muzan's palace out of all places. Yes, Muzan's palace. Muzan is talking to the 10 upper moons. And remember, Muzan is upper moon 1. Alright? Muzan is upper moon 1. And he's talking about the upper moons and saying, how are we going to get revenge on the Demon Slayer Corp for killing one of our lower moons? And they're thinking of ideas and stuff like that. Then, upper moon 2. Yorichi's brother. Yorichi, also known as the person with the sun breathing technique and the first one to ever create breathing techniques, alright? His brother. Alright. I think it was Yorichi or some shit like that, but like he's not important right now. So he says Muzan. And Muzan's like, yes, what is it? And Muzan says, I have an idea. And he says, what's this idea? And he grabs Muzan and he does a waving motion of like come here. And Muzan, he gets closer and he whispers in his ear, how about we frame Tanjiro and possibly his sister, but Tanjiro is going to be the real gamble. And His sister, it's going to be an easy gamble, but it depends on the person that finds out how she gets framed. But I know how to frame her. And he tells them the plans, alright? And Muzan hearing this, he gets up, he smiles, and he hugs Upper Moon 2 and says, "Thank you. This is genius. It's beautiful." And it's not that they don't trust the other Upper Moons, it's because they feel like they're going to mess it up. Alright? So, yeah. Upper Moon 2. Hmm. Alright. I know the whole Upper Moon things are changed, but like we're gonna change that, alright? Muzan's gonna be Upper Moon 1. Upper Moon 2, he's no longer Upper Moon 2, he's Upper Moon 3. Upper Moon 10, he's 11 now. We don't care. There's gonna be 11 Upper Moons. I don't care. Alright? Doesn't matter how much Upper Moons there are. If there's 12, now there's 13. If there's 14, now there's 15. Alright? I don't care. Alright? Because I read the manga. Yes, I read the manga, but I'm not going to be spoiling the manga. All right, all right. I'm not one to do that. You guys know me. I don't spoil things for other people. All right. I hate it myself when people spoil, but honestly, I don't care if people spoil something for me. It depends on whether I care about it or not. All right. So we start off in the forest. All right. We start off the real story, like the whole story, like the whole framed and betrayed story in the forest, like where it takes place, where this family is getting attacked by a demon. This family of four: father, mother, daughter, son. All right. The son and the daughter are the same age. They're twins. All right. They're four. They're 4 years old and stuff like that. So they're attacked by this demon, and Nezuko saves them. But this demon, it happens to be a high class demon, not of upper moon level, but like a strong demon. All right. And it forces her to use her horns and stuff like that, her true demon form, as you know. And the wind pillar. The wind pillar. Yes, the wind pillar. After Nezuko beats the demon and he's dispersing, like take in mind at this current moment, no such thing as that demon can be seen. Not its clothes, its particles, not its hair, nothing. So, and that family, it's sitting right in front of Nezuko in fear of the demon that Nezuko just defeated. And Sim and the Wind Pillar. I don't know how to pronounce his name, and I don't plan to pronounce his name. Alright, so yeah. He sees this and he says, "That demon finally decided to show her true colors and go after humans, I see." And he attempts to attack her. And he attacks her. He gets behind her. As we know, the Wind Pillar is fast due to, well, wind. Alright, and he goes behind her and he cuts her head off and kills her. Alright? He kills her. Kills her. Murders her. I don't care what you say. Alright? He kills her. At the same time, Tanjiro, he's fighting a lesser demon. Why? Because I just feel like it. And because it could be done quick. It's a lesser demon. Alright? So, the lesser demon gets taken care of by Tanjiro. And take in mind, Genya, the water pillar, as you know, he is currently out on a mission. He won't be back until after a month. After a month after Tanjiro gets, well, betrayed and framed. Alright? So yeah. So Tanjiro, he is fighting the lesser demon and he wins against it. But as they were fighting, there was a demon that slipped a little note in his pocket, alright? A little note, as you know, a little note, a little piece of paper, stuff like that. Alright, and yeah, so he's done beating the demon and he leaves. He doesn't leave. He leaves to go back to the headquarters and goes to the dormitories. And he says, "I'm back." And Conan says, "Hi, Tanjiro. I'm glad you're back," and stuff like that. Alright. In this one, she's gonna have feelings. I know she didn't have. I know you're gonna be like, "Oh, what do you mean she has feelings?" She didn't show any feelings in the original anime. She was emotionless, actually. The only emotion she probably showed was happiness, but that was barely happiness. It was just a smile. That doesn't mean she's happy. It just means that she's smiling. All right, you need to understand that. Just because I laugh doesn't mean I'm happy. Just because I smile doesn't mean I'm happy. I could be acting like I have the greatest time of my life with you guys. In reality, I could be depressed. Could be having panic attacks, anxiety. It doesn't matter. Like, you need to understand that about people. They could be acting like they have like all fun and games and shit like that with you, but like, focus on reality, like how they act around you and stuff like that. So yeah. So all right. So yeah. So he goes back and he says, "I'm sweaty and stuff like that, and I'm going to be taking a shower." And he says, "I'm going to be taking a shower. Nezuko, she is currently out still fighting a demon. I don't know what's happening though." And yeah, so Tanjiro, he goes take a shower, and Aoi, the one that is shipped with Inasoka, yes, you know, she goes to clean because, well, she cleans the house and stuff like that with those three triplets. All right, I think they're her siblings, but I don't know. All right, so they go, and and she's cleaning his stuff, and she looks into his pockets to see if he has anything valuable inside, and she sees the note, and she opens the note, and it says, "Hello, Tanjiro. It's Muzan, and as you know, we've been having tough times fighting the demons, like the demon slayers, and we're eternally grateful for your help in telling us, well, where the missions will be held and events. So thank you for that, and I'll be seeing if I can do anything for you in return. So, until then, please stay undercover." From Muzan and Upper Moon 1. And Aoi reads this and she's shocked because Muzan and Upper Moon 1. So she runs all the way to Shinobu. She runs to Shinobu and shows her the note. Shinobu, of course. Shinobu, she says, "Ara ara." Yes, she hits her with the ara ara shit. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably the only redeeming quality I like about her. Cause like the way she act, I don't like I don't like it. It's kind of creepy. Like, imagine you're fighting somebody and you say some dumbass shit and that person says "Ada ada," you messed the fuck up. Like, imagine how embarrassed you'd feel and disrespected. Like, bro, you sound like you're like her voice. She sounds like she's in like a porno and stuff like that. Yeah, she's in a porno. So yeah, this. All right, kids, don't ask what this is. All right. So yeah, and she goes to the Hashiras. All right, and the Hashiras read this, and the master as well. The Hashiras and the master reads this, and the Wind Pillar and the Snake Boy, the two that hate him the most, said, "So he was a traitor. How shall we deal with him?" And the master says, "Well, we can't up and confront him. So, how about we just spread it, but make sure nobody tells him?" So, while Tanjiro's taking a shower, they schedule a meeting for everyone and tell them what happened. Everyone's shocked and stuff like that. And it's been a week now, and Tanjiro sees that, well, everybody's getting distant towards him. Everyone in the Demon Slayer Corps, even his pets. So, he's wondering what happened. And then, about 2 weeks later, he just steps out and he sees a line of people and they have rocks in their hand. He's walking thinking they're gonna do something to some other person, and they start throwing rocks at him. And he's getting bruises all over the place, and somebody drags him all the way to the Hashiras. He's in front of the Hashiras, tied up again and stuff like that, like he did in the anime. And they said, and Shinobu steps up and she says, "Ada, Ada, Tanjiro." And the master, he steps out and says, Tanjiro, I didn't know you were the traitor. A traitor to the Demon Slayer Corps. And Tanjiro says, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And the Wind Pillar, he kicks Tanjiro and says, don't lie to us, we saw the letter. And right as he got kicked in the face, Shinobu saw it and she got sad. Yeah, she basically has this expression, the sadness expression. This sad-ass expression, basically. And she wants to cry, but she can't. So, yeah. And they show him the letter, and he says, but I never talked to Muzan or Upper Moon 1. Heck, I don't even know who Upper Moon 1 is. And the only time I encountered Muzan was one time. And at that time, he was with his family. And they were like, oh, family, you say? Thank you for spilling the beans. We'll dispose of you and him at the same time. And Tanjiro, the master says, Tanjiro Kanado, you are hereby kicked out of the Demon Slayer Corps. And they kick him out, basically. They kick him out. They take his sword and stuff like that. They kick him out and beat his Lotion. They beat him up. The Hashiras beat him up. They give him a few cuts and bruises. Except for Mitsuri and Ganyu. Ganyu, we know he is not here. He is on a mission. So, right after they beat Tanjiro up and kick him and stuff like that. And the Snake Boy. Yes, Snake Boy. Yes, Snake Man. Snake Boy. That's what I'm calling him from now on. Alright? Snake Boy, he goes to Mitsuri and tries to hug her and say, we finally got rid of that traitor. And Mitsuri slaps him. Mitsuri slaps him, and Shinobu says, what are you doing? She slaps Shinobu as well, and she says, you idiots. And she just runs away crying. And they're wondering, what the hell does she mean? And yeah. So Mitsuri, she's been in her room for a week crying, alright? She's in her room. She's in her room crying, basically. Alright? Let's just say she's in the butterfly mansion because, well, she just wants to. Alright? Her room is in the butterfly mansion because she had a crush on Tanjiro, wanted to be close to him. So, she's in her room crying for 2 weeks. And nobody, not anyone, can get her out because, first of all, they can't break the door because if they do, well, they'll scare her and shit. So, yeah. So, they do that, and she's been in her room crying for 2 weeks and crying herself to sleep. And she's been crying over Tanjiro and stuff like that. And before Tanjiro got kicked out, the Wind Pillar dude, he yelled out, that's why I killed your sister, you traitor. And Tanjiro, hearing this, is broken automatically. Why? I don't know if you guys watch this on YouTube, but like there was this guy who talks about why Tanjiro is so kind, and I'm gonna be using that theory in this, alright? So Tanjiro, he's broken, alright? He crawls into a cave, and that's where we're going to be leaving it off for Tanjiro at the moment. So we're just going to cut back to the Demon Slayer Corps. Demon Slayer Corps, they've been having the time of their lives. Right after Tanjiro got kicked out, they threw a party thinking, oh, we got rid of the traitor and shit like that. But there was never no traitor to get kicked out anyways. So yeah. So they kick him out, and what the fuck? Somebody texted me? Bullshit. Yeah, that's not my concern. I don't really care about them anyways. Alright, so, yeah. Back at the Demon Slayer Corp. It's been a week now, and Genyu finally gets back. Alright? Genyu finally gets back, and he sees the Hashiras, and he's like, where is Mitsuri? And they say she's in her room at the Butterfly Mansion. And he goes to the Butterfly Mansion, and he hears crying, and he knocks on the door, and Mitsuri says, what do you guys want? And Genyu says, Mitsuri, it's me. And he opens the door, and she opens the door and pulls Genyu in and closes it and locks it. And Genyu looks at her face, and her eyes are all puffy, and where you see those pink blush marks, those shits are red, alright? It's red there, because she's been crying a lot. And Genyu asks, why are you crying? What happened? And he asks, did something happen while I was gone? And Mitsuri says yes. And he says, tell me what happened. And he tells her what happened. And Genyu, he walks out and says, thank you for telling me. And he gets out. He gets out the butterfly mansion and he's pissed beyond compare. He is pissed beyond belief. A, because he thinks those two are different from demons and regular humans, of course. But also, Tanjiro was going to be the next water pillar. And he knows that, well, he hates Muzan for killing his whole family, like massacring them niggas, and shit like that. So he goes to, well, the Demon Slayer Corps, and Shinobu tries to hug him and say, Tomioka-kun. But she just gets bitch slapped. Yes, she got bitch slapped. Pimp slapped. I don't care what you call it. Bitch slap, pimp slap, backhand slap, forehand slap. I don't care. It's a slap that hurts your fucking face. It's a hard ass, fire ass, hot ass slap. Alright? So that slap goes across her face, and she says, why would you do that? And she says, for people that's supposed to be the oldest, wisest, and possibly the all-knowing, you're pretty stupid. And he walks away. And he says that's all the Hashiras. All of them. Except for Mitsuri, because, well, Mitsuri. He knows about Mitsuri's crush on Tanjiro, because, well, they talked about that shit. That's crazy, right? Alright. So, yeah, they talked about that. Now we cut back to Tanjiro, alright? Tanjiro, it's been 3 months now, alright? It's been 3 months now. We're gonna do a 2-month time skip, alright? Because Genyu got back a month after he got kicked out. Now, we skip to 2 months. Tanjiro's been in the cave, depressed as fuck. Hello. Yeah, so my boy Tanjiro, he's depressed because Nezuko died. And if you did not watch the video, it's basically talking about why Tanjiro is so nice. It's because, well, he can continue being what his family wanted him to be, which was a good older brother. So, yeah. Tanjiro, he depressed as shit, alright? Because he can't be the one thing his family wanted him to be, which is an older brother. And he's questioning himself, thinking, what's my purpose in life now? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to succeed if I can't even, well, do what my family wanted me to do? And then he remembers that the letter, and he sees Muzan's name and Upper Mu 1, and he gets pissed. And the Wind Pillar, he gets pissed at those three, and he's like, I'm gonna kill Muzan and Upper Mu 1 and beat the living shit, bitch, out of the Wind Pillar. So, he starts training. Like I said, they took his sword away, and you're wondering, how the hell is he going to train if he doesn't have a sword? Okay, then. Let's talk about the stupid knowledge of that world. Alright, hold up real quick. Okay, lesson on the dumb knowledge of that world. Breathing techniques. The breathing technique. It's basically a style where your breathing can be turned into any element depending on how concentrated your breathing is. Alright? So, the knowledge of that world. Most people use the breathing technique for swords. The most unique one I've ever seen was the rock pillar. And that nigga used it for a spiky maze. Which I wouldn't say is bad. But it's not good either. Cause that shit be heavy. And one misturn, and you can slam that shit right into your head and die. Especially when the spikes are big and pointy as hell. So, Tanjiro, he starts thinking about, well, using the breathing technique on his body. Yes, breathing techniques on his body. So, he starts doing the breathing techniques and stuff like that, and he does every element, alright? Alright, so yeah, and he does, well, the breathing techniques that he mostly uses is, well, dark matter breathing and darkness breath. All right, why? Because he hates everyone and he wants them to suffer, despair. shit like that, and black hole breathing. All right, black hole breathing works with the dark matter breathing and shit like that, and he uses light breathing with his arm that has the shadow breathing. And you may be wondering, what about this? What about the fire, the sun god breathing? What about that one? He does that, but for his back. You may be wondering, why for his back? Why? Armor wise, all right. I'm joking. Yes, armor wise, he uses on his body basically. So you see that suit or vest or shit like that that you see on his shoulders. Yeah, that's basically the fire breathing. He used that, and the thing on his shirt is, well, a mixture between metal breathing and water breathing. Why? Water can be, well, with that he can make liquid metal easily. Alright? Alright then. So he does that, and the sword, he made that shit out of dark matter, light, shadows, and yeah. So yeah. So he's basically training. He trains for 1 year, alright? He's not gonna get no supernatural knowledge now. I think in the anime he was like 15 or 16, alright? So we're gonna age down Mitsuri, she's 16, alright? Tanjiro's 15. I'm joking. They're the same age, alright? She 15, he 15, alright? They're the same age, alright? I don't care. The youngest one is 14. The youngest Hashira was 14, right? Alright then. 15, 15, alright? We got it, alright? Alright. So he stays there for 1 year, and Mitsuri has not talked to the Hashiras, nor has Genya for that 1 year. And Tanjiro, he's basically walking around, and he goes to that city he was in, and he finds Muzan again. But this time, this nigga boldly walks up to Muzan, grabs Muzan by the neck. He doesn't care if he's with his family, lifts that nigga up and slams him on the floor. And he yells out at Muzan saying, "So you wanted to frame me, huh? Well then, let's see how it turns out for you." And Muzan hearing framed, and he thinks, Tanjiro? And he says, "Oh, so you do remember my name. Well then, let's take a little trip." And he grabs Muzan by the neck, and he jumps away. His family yelling, and everybody surprised as hell. And where he takes him is to the cave. To the cave, because I want it to be to the cave. Alright? This is gonna be the torture session of a lifetime. Alright? Like I said, liquid metal. Perfect for the situation. He uses it to create chains. He uses it to create chains and also a suit of armor that fits him skin tight. And he put, cause as you saw in the oh wait, I can't spoil that shit. But all right, I can't say it, but like just know that Muzan, he has the ability to explode himself into many different pieces, and the amount of pieces can form into a heart, so he can, well, revive. All right, let's just say that. So he makes his skin tight and stuff like that, so he has a hard time when he explodes. And he's using metal, so he uses the metal and pierce him for a long time. And that metal going inside his body will stretch into any vital organs, alright? He won't kill him. Once he gets to the hearts, he will let one heart survive, but all the other ones, no. He'll let one brain survive as well. And Muzan, he wants to yell in pain, but Tanjiro, he took an apple of all things, shoved that shit down his throat. Alright? So he can't yell. He's in pain, he can't yell. Alright? So yeah. So he does that, and oh wow, oh my god. I told him to stop yelling too. I fucking hate kids, bro. If I have kids in the future, I'm not raising them like my brother. I swear to God. Alright? So yeah. So yeah, he does that, and this is not going to be no one shot. He beats the living crap out of Muzan, and he boxes Muzan around a little bit. He uses shadow and dark matter and punches the living doo-doo out of Muzan. And then he goes and brings Muzan back to his family, and he says, "Good luck. And tell Abramoon 1 he's next." And Muzan, he's terrified, alright? He is terrified. He's petrified. He has PTSD, alright? He can't even sleep in peace now. He has PTSD. Alright? The man's life he ruined just came back and literally rocked his shit without even trying. Alright? So he has PTSD. He has PTSD, scared as fuck. He can't do anything. He's petrified. He's petrified in place, alright? His wife walks him home, sits him down, and shit like that, and he says, I gotta kill him, I gotta kill him, I gotta kill him, I gotta kill him. Alright, so he summons all the upper moons and shit like that. He goes to the palace, summons all the upper moons, and he tells Upper Moon 1, from now on, you are not allowed to get out this palace whatsoever. And Upper Moon 1's like, why? And Muzan explains what happens, and all of them are petrified. They're frozen in place, they're frozen out of shock, and shit like that. I was so close to breaking this phone due to my excessive pressing on just imagining what would happen to him. Like, like imagine getting stabbed. Like, imagine every hole in your body. And I'm talking about every hole. Not the visible tiny hair holes you see, no. I'm talking about every hole between your atoms, electrons, and shit like that. Having a spike that small, stab you. All of them at the same time, and then move, and then widen the cuts, and then it lets you heal for a few days, and then strikes those same spots again, but this time sending 1 inch of metal through that body part and going into your nerves, then your bloodstream, and then attacking your cells. All right. So yeah, I hope you imagine that. That shit is painful, alright? Alright? And I want you guys to wonder about this. Like, in our modern day and age, I'm not talking about back then, modern day and age, what, in this day and time, what would you think the worst way to die would be? Alright? For me, I'm telling you this now, laxatives. Laxatives would be the worst killer in the world. Getting strapped to a chair with a circle on the bottom where your ass is, having a whole tombstone type shit dug down like not 6 feet, like like 70 feet down, being dug right under your seat, and you're strapped to that chair, and that nigga forces you to eat laxatives. Laxatives, alright? Laxatives. Alright, they're just a tube of laxatives where you're gonna eat them like swallowing that shit the whole time. Alright? Your ass is going to be shitting and you're going to poop. It's either you bleed out to death with that poop, or your organs start getting pooped out. And once you die, they're going to drop you in your poop. Your mushy ass, smelly ass, disgusting ass poop. Alright? That would be my way of torturing somebody to the fullest extent. Alright? Your ass would be on top of that. Not only will you get dropped upon it, but as you're shitting on it, the smell will be rising. Alright? The smell of the poop will be rising, and you will be smelling your poop whilst you are pooping and drinking laxatives. And that too, you can't take that shit out your mouth. So, you're gonna be having the hardest time of your life. Alright? Worst way to die, isn't it? I know. So, yeah. I'm a weird type person. I'm a weird and psychotic type person. I know, I'm a psychotic type person. Alright, but I'm a calm psychopathic person. Don't worry about me. Alright? So, yeah. So, he does that, and so the upper moons are petrified. Like, petrified. If he could do that to Muzan, like, what the hell is gonna happen to Upper Moon 1? Cause as far as we know, that nigga's not surviving. And when alright, I'm gonna say this now. When I said every style, I also mean poison and healing and shit like that. Why? Because of Shinobu. Shinobu uses poison breathing. Alright, in her butterfly breathing. Alright, her butterfly breathing technique. The butterflies, they're poisonous. They have different types of poison, like light poison, very deep and strong poison and shit like that. So yeah. So he does that, and Tanjiro's hair is basically like this. It's black, like pitch black. So yeah. So he's wandering around in forest and shit like that. And in this time, It's been a month. No, 2. Yeah, 2 months time skip. Alright? It's been 2 months now, and Muzan decides to attack the corporation. Not to attack them to, well, do damage. No. To attack them with knowledge. Alright? So he goes to the corporation and infiltrates them, and the Hashiras and everyone else comes and he says, huh? Where's Tanjiro? He's still petrified of Tanjiro and has a hard time saying his name. But he could still say it. And they said, what do you mean, where's Tanjiro? He was with you. Of course we'd kick him out. What do you expect? So yeah, the petrified group comes up. The upper petrified came up. Yes, I'm calling them the upper petrified now, since they got petrified after hearing what happened to Muzan. And they said, yeah, so like you already know what they said. They said, he's one of you guys, he's betrayed us, why would we help him? And Muzan, he starts laughing. He says, betray us? And they said, why are you laughing? And why did you say it like that? The master comes on and says, what are you talking about? What schemes are you planning? He says, betray? He didn't betray me. He didn't betray you. He didn't even do anything. And they're wondering, what the hell? And he looks at Genyu and he says, oh, the water Hashira was here. So I guess the water Hashira did something to actually give you guys a hint, didn't he? And he looks at the Hashira and says, Hashira, so I guess you didn't get the hint that Mr. Genyu, the water Hashira, gave to you, did you? And they're like, hint? Hint to what? And he says, well then, I guess Tanjiro didn't tell you about his backstory, huh? And they're wondering, backstory? And he says, Mr. Hashira, you can leave. This matter doesn't concern you since you already know the situation. You're free to go. And Ganyu says, alright. And he leaves. And Master's like, what if he attacks? And he looks back and says, if he attacks, I'll be there, but not fighting with you. And they got silent and stuff like that. So, Muzan says, did you know that I'm the reason Tanjiro Kanado has no family? And, what? What do you mean? And he tells him a story about how he massacred his family and turned Nezuko into a demon. And then he says, why would he join the same killer of his family? And them hearing this, they're like, what? We were wrong? And he bursts out and says, yes, you were wrong. Not only did he not betray you, that letter was a fake. You betrayed him, and I framed him. Sure, I've paid my price, but not the full one. But what will you pay? And they think about it and they're like, oh no, we messed up. And he says to them, tell that love pillar of yours that I send my regards and tell her that he's perfectly fine. I won't reveal the location, but just know he is perfectly fine. And they leave, alright? And Tanjiro goes up to, well, the mansion and he says, so you told them I see Muzan? And Muzan says, yeah. And he says, well, I guess our deal is finished. Bye then. And I'll be taking Upper Moon 1 with me. And he takes Upper Moon 1 and does the same shit. Alright? But this time, he gouges 4 of the 6 eyes he has, alright? He does 4 of the 6 eyes. And those are the 2 bottom eyes and the 2 top eyes. If you haven't noticed, the 2 middle eyes are his original eyes. The eyes he had before, he turned into a demon. So he yells in pain all the time. Alright? And everyone from the corporation can hear faint screaming from that mountain. And they're thinking, faint screaming, is there a demon attack? And yeah. So, I don't know if I'm going to make this a one-shot, but I think so. I don't know. Alright, so, yeah, I'll probably make this a one-shot. I know I never said I was going to make a one-shot, but, like, I just feel like it's appropriate for this one, alright? Alright. If it's not a one-shot, it's probably going to be, like, 2 or 3 part, but, like, I guarantee it will probably be a 2-part. So, let's get into it. Alright. So, they do that, and they go check. Tanjiro notices their footsteps by hearing them through the earth. Tanjiro, he does not use his eyes, alright? Tanjiro, he went blind. Why? Due to the fact that one of the parts of using the light style, he had to stare at the sun. And he got blind due to that. So, he does what Toph does and uses earth. Toph does it with her bare feet, but he uses his shoes, alright? Why? Because his shoes are made out of earth. Leather. Earth leather, basically. It has a leathery texture and it feels like leather, but it's made out of earth. Very tiny pieces of earth that have been stretched into a thread, basically, making the shoes. So, he basically sends them and he says, well then, Upper Moon One, looks like our time is up. Let me return you. And he returns him back to Muzan's palace and says, thank you, I'll be leaving now. And he goes into hiding for another year. Alright? At this time, after that year, he is currently 17, so is Mitsuri. So, yeah. And Mitsuri has been looking for him, and he knows that, but he does not want to reveal himself. After that 1 year, he goes and walks into the Hunters Corporation, alright? And he goes to it and basically does the test, alright? In this time, Muzan did not attack. If you do not know what the war arc is, well, you need to read the manga. I'm not spoiling it, alright? So, yeah. Actually, I'm gonna put manga spoilers in this. I don't care, alright? Alright, watch this at your own risk. I'm gonna put some manga spoilers at the title, so, yeah. Alright then. Take caution of what you're about to hear in the next part, because this is manga spoilers. Unless you have read the manga, you have been warned, alright? You have been warned. I have told you manga spoilers happening after this specific moment, alright? So, the war arc is basically a fight between the Hashiras and the Upper Moons, alright? First Hashira to get killed was Rengoku. He died to Upper Moon 3, who is now Upper Moon 4, alright? We're not talking about him now. Alright, let's get it. Alright, so Muzan did not attack where all the other Hashiras except for Genyu and the Wind Pillar didn't die. So yeah, he doesn't do that, alright? So, not gonna lie, that Miss Pillar, when she died, I was actually kind of pissed. I was kind of pissed when the Wind Pillar died. Why? I liked her. Oh no, he's a he. My bad. I liked him. Yeah, I liked him. She looks like a girl, but a boy. He's a girlish boy, alright? So, he was a quiet one. He was a curious, quiet one. He's a friend of mine. I'm not gonna lie. If I were to meet him in real life, I'd probably think he a girl and try to talk to her or him. See the mix up. I see her as a girl. I see him as a girl. Oh my god. I'm so used to thinking of him as a girl that like my whole mindset of him is her. All right. So yeah, I got pissed when she died. When he died. Oh my god. I'm sorry guys. All right. I got pissed when he died. So yeah. So yeah. Not gonna lie. I was kind of emotional when Shinobu died, but like the one that really got me was Genya. My son Genya, he died protecting his brother that neglected him. Like, what, bro? If I got neglected by an older brother, bro, best be known, I'm not saving you. You dying yourself. I'm not dying with you, for you, next to you. Nah, bro. I'm dying after you. Way after you. There ain't no coming right after. Nobody. It's a, you get killed, I'm a dip. We're not doing this. So, yeah. So, he does that. And after a month later, he walks into the corporation, does the test, and he bodies them with his bare hands. Yes, bare hands. Bare hands. Gravity breathing. he did push-ups with gravity on his back. All right, he had a whole like workout thing and shit like that, but he mostly did push-ups, pull-ups, squats, and shit like that. So yeah, the pressure he's able to emit on his body that he can actually accept is around 100,000 times the gravity. So yeah, so he has gravity breathing. He can put gravity on the enemies or himself. So yeah, he goes and bodies them with his bare hands and stuff like that. He just punches them and kills them. He punches their heads off. He bodies them. Alright, he doesn't play games with them. Alright, and everybody seeing this, they're in shock. They're like, what? And the Hashiras and the master hears about this, and he's like, we have to make him a Hashira. And he joins a corporation, and the crow comes, that same crow that was his pet, and before it could even speak, Tanjiro grabs its beak, its head, and its neck, and says, speak and you die. And he lets it go, and it's frightened. It's frightened, because when it looked into Izuku's eyes, it saw a blank, like absolute white. It's like a ghost pale type white. So it got scared, and it suddenly saw, and it was confused, and it was like, what? How can he see me? And then it suddenly saw his eyes turn red, and it got frightened. So it it says your mission's at blank 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 blank. So yeah, he does that. He goes, he bodies it, and leaves. So he goes, and while he's on his way back, he encounters Genyu, and Genya sees him, and he's like, well, why does he remind me so much of him? And he walks up to him, and Genya looks him straight in the eyes, and he looks Genya right in the eyes, and his eyes turn back to his red and says, Genya-san, why are you here? And Genya hearing Genya-san, and he starts crying and says, Tanjiro? And Tanjiro says, well, yeah. And he hugs him, and he says, I'm sorry I couldn't protect you, your sister. I'm a failure. And he says, no, you're not. And he says, but I am. And Tanjiro, he picks his head up and says, look at me. And he looks at him, and Tanjiro says, you're not a failure. It was just a situation that you had no power over. Even Mitsuri tried to help, but she did not have that much of an effect. So don't blame yourself due to what the other Hashiras did. Just don't do what they ever did. And he says, okay. So they stay in that village for a week. Alright, they stay in that village for a week, and they decide to leave together. So they leave together, and the Hashiras are basically having a meeting, and they told Genyu, he says, Tanjiro, come with me, let's go. And Tanjiro says, alright, and they go. And they get there, and you see the new guy with Genyu, and they're like, who are you? And Genyu says that's none of your business. And they ask Tanjiro. Tanjiro says that's none of your concern, is it? And the Wind Pillar, getting cocky as hell, gets really rowdy and tries to attack him. And all of a sudden, his face is in Tanjiro's palm, lifted in the air, and slammed on the floor. And why and how that happened? Tanjiro, like I said, every breath, he combined wind style, shadow style, no, wind, darkness. He combined wind, darkness, and lightning. Alright? Not any regular lightning, purple lightning. Phantom black darkness, and clear wind. Clear. Not that mist type shit. Clear. Like that shit you can't see. Alright? Like that's the type of air you be seeing on a sunny day. Alright? That clear ass, shiny ass air. And he got up to his face, lifted him up, and slammed him. And the other Hashira was getting into a fighting stance, and he goes right in front of them, and he says, Rengoku, your fire is weak. Take a hike. And he punches him in the stomach and he goes flying. Rock Pillar tries to attack him, grabs the mace, and crushes it and breaks it with his bare hands. That's basically what you hear. You hear that type of shit. And he grabs him by the stomach, like the Earth Pillar, and sends him flying with, well, pressure. Because he moved faster than the speed of light, so of course there's going to be drawbacks, and the pressure from him slapping him basically sent him flying. And for the mist pillar, tried to go with misting and make it so that Tanjiro can't see, but Tanjiro, as I said, he's blind. He uses the movements through the earth, and he punches him, sends him flying. He doesn't do him that dirty, I'm joking. He doesn't do him dirty at all. Because remember, the mist pillar, like I said, that nigga gets distracted a lot. So he wasn't paying attention to the Tanjiro thing, nor did he really care because he knows Tanjiro is not a dumbass, not a fool, not a retard. So yeah, him and Tanjiro still have a good relationship. And he just goes up to the mist pillar. The mist pillar thinks he's about to get hit, tries to draw his sword. Tanjiro says, "Don't worry about it. You don't have to do that." And pats her on the head. And when he gets patted on the head, he thinks, this pat, there's only one person that would do that. And she thinks, Tanjiro? And he says, shh. And she says, okay. And he goes, beats the living doo-doo out of all of them, grabs the Wind Hashira by the leg, basically does the Hulk thing that he did to Loki, does the thing that Loki did, that Hulk did to Loki, and he just slams that nigga from left to right multiple times. Master tries to get into it, grabs the Master by the head, slams that nigga on the floor. And those little two niggas tried to grab him, but Tanjiro puts pressure on them using gravity. Yeah, so yeah, he does that, and he mops the living floor with them. And Mitsuri had her eyes closed the whole time, thinking she was gonna get hurt, but then she opens her eyes and sees Tanjiro in front of her, and she says, and he looks at Genya and says, Genya, I'll be taking her for a little while. Hold up real quick. So yeah, she lifts up the fine specimen you see right here, and he jumps away bridal style with her. Yeah, bridal style. Cause he knows about the crush thing, and he kinda had a crush on her too, cause Genyu told her about the crush he had on him. So then they jump off into the forest. And you're wondering why the forest? Cause I wanted to be the forest, alright? So yeah, they jump off to the forest, and she asks, "What are you gonna do to me?" And Tanjiro says, "Wow, is that really how you speak to somebody after not seeing them for what, 2 years now?" And she says, I don't know you. And he says, let me give you a hint. I used to have a red scar right around here. And there's somebody I know whose name has Nez in it. And she thinks Red Scar, Nez, and she thinks of Nezuko. And she says, Tanjiro? And Tanjiro says, ding, 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 bingo. And she hears his name and she starts crying and she runs to him and hugs him. And Tanjiro says, it's okay, Mitsuri. I almost forgot her name there. I was thinking of Mitsuki. Because I have a what if where I'm going to make Mitsuki part of the ship. Alright? But, like, that's not for now. That's not for now. Alright? So, yeah. So, he does that, and Mitsuri, she hugs him, and Mitsuri, she kisses him. She takes the initiative. Yes, Mitsuri takes the initiative and kisses him. She took the initiative and kissed him, and he was surprised because she took the initiative. Alright, and he kisses back and stuff like that. And they walk back to the Hashiras, who are now half castes, except for, have a sort of caste, except for the Mist Pillar. And yeah, so they walk back. And They walk back and they're holding hands, and Ganyu, he smiles, he smirks, and so does the Miss Pillar, and everybody's wondering how the hell is she so formal with him, and who the hell is he? And Tanjiro, he opens his mouth and says, "Oh, so you forgot the person you betrayed." And they're like, "Betrayed?" And they're thinking, the only person we betrayed is. And they all gasp and say, "Tanjiro?" And Tanjiro says, "Ding, ding, ding. You dumbasses got it right. Like I said, man's Tanjiro and woke up and chose violence. Alright? Tanjiro, like I said, he woke up and chose violence." It sounded like a slap for some reason. Alright, so yeah, and they go to apologize, and Tanjiro says, "Save it. I don't want to hear anything from you guys. You guys are backstabbing. You'll probably do it again anyways." And he walks off. And he does not live with them in any of the dormitories. He lives inside that mountain. So yeah, and that happens. I think that's where I'm gonna be leaving it off, where he says, "Save it," and he goes to the wind pillar and hugs him and says, "Thanks for believing in me." And the wind pillar says, "You're welcome, Tanjiro-chan." Yes, since Tanjiro is big boy now, she calls him Chan. Tanjiro's older, so she calls him Tanjiro-chan. Yes, not Tanjiro-kun. That's what Mitsuri calls him, or Daddy-kun. My son Tanjiro, no homo though. He look like a daddy. No homo. Like I said, no homo. All right. So this what if is what if Tanjiro was betrayed and framed. I guess that's where I'm gonna be leaving it off. Guess that's it. See you guys next what if. My little